Hello and welcome back to Robinsunne Art Studio. My name is Robinsunne. Please do like and comment and subscribe and share this video if you like this video. And I think you will, because this is a really fun project. Okay, so the project is an accordion book made out of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. If you live in Europe or pretty much anywhere else in the entire planet and use metric system paper, that's okay too. Just modify for the different measurements a little bit, but it's still, we're using half sheets of 8.5 of our cardstock. Or you can use paper that's this size too. Actually, you could use any old size of paper and follow the general directions, and you'll get a differently shaped book, you know, like height and width, but it'll still work out to be an accordion book. So, I wanted to show you that. Let's see, I think it's back here. I showed you in the last video that there's a little overlap that you can see maybe a little bit as a shadow right here. On the opposite side of the accordion, there is a little bit of paper that I've scored and made into a tab to glue this piece of 8.5 by 5.5 paper to, this piece glued to this piece right here at this tab. So let me show you how to do that. So we take our cardstock, and you can use paper. It makes for a little bit more of a flowy book, which is to say not quite so stiff as the cardstock, but it still works. So we're going to divide this in half, and this is the 11-inch measurement right here. So half of that is 5.5. And the only time scoring it like this is problematic. I was working with some colored cardstock the other day, and this measurement was actually a little bit more than like maybe a 1/16 of an inch, maybe even almost an 1/8 of an inch longer than 11 inches, which then makes your measurements wonky. So that's bad, but just be aware, you know, measure your paper first and make sure that the people who make this cardstock for us, I'm trying really hard to find and stay with, because I'm cutting this by hand. I guess I could just make that mark a little deeper. Let's try that. Better. So we're cutting our pieces of paper in half. And I have measured this white cardstock, and it does seem to be sort of precisely 11 inches, and the cut along the top, the papers are even. The papers I was cutting yesterday, I don't know if you can see this, but there was like a huge difference. So none of that matters at all if you just keep measuring your paper and make sure it's doing what you think it's doing. So now we get to measure for the exact size of the papers. And here, let's open it from the back. We've got 4 inches here, 4 inches here, and 1/2 inch right here. And actually, maybe I should show it to you upside down. So 1/2 inch, and then 4 inches and 4 inches. So the way that I'm doing that is to mark off 1/2 inch right there, And you can make this sort of a, I mean, don't go through your paper, but that's a fold we're going to make, and we want it to be a secure fold. So you can press a little harder. And then that's a 1/2 inch. So if we go to 4.5 inches, we'll get 4 inches here. And that leaves us with 4 inches right there. So we're all set. So let me go through that a couple of times, just to make sure you're seeing what I'm seeing. So a 1/2 inch is going to be that little tab, and then these will be the front and the back of the pages. We'll fold them, and that'll help make, oh, these already have the folds on them. So what we're going to do is, on this center sort of fold, we're going to make a mountain fold. So let's do that. And then this little 1/2 inch tab, we're going to make a valley fold right there. Okay, so between the two big pieces, there's a mountain fold, and right here, there's a valley fold on the little piece. And then we're going to glue them together. I want to show you, and I know this because it went wrong with me. There's a way to make your book. You look at this book from above, you'll see that this edge right here is very straight. You know, the folds all kind of meet at the same place, and same thing with this. And I'll show you what happens when you glue them together in the incorrect way, which I did, and I was really disappointed with the book. It didn't work the way I'd hoped it would. It kept sort of shifting to the left. So here we have the 4 inch space and the 4 inch space, and then the little 1/2 inch space. And what I did was I took the next paper and I tucked it in right there, and the next paper, and I tucked it in, and the next paper, and I tucked it, whoops, this is going the way I wanted it to. There we go. Tuck it in. And kind of close that up. And we're going to tuck the next piece right in that lip. And close it up. Take the next piece. And then I had glued these in. But even if I tap them together, you know, kind of press them and try to make sure that they're going in the right direction, I hope you can see that right here the pages keep shifting over that way. So that's a bad thing. We don't want that to happen. And you'll notice on this one they don't shift over to the left as you stack them up. So what we need to do, by the way, I pre-made some of these pages. This is 4 sheets of paper that have given me 8 folded pages, you know, front and back. So let's get on to the gluing. Actually, let's take that away. Pin back in. Oh, it's all stuck. So This is just Elmer's glue, no big deal. I think you would not want to use a stick glue stick. I don't feel like it would kind of hold up and be strong enough, but you do you. But I'm just saying, I think wet glues do a little better. And what's inside this bottle, even though some might recognize it as art glitter glue, this is actually Elmer's inside. I really love the size of this bottle and the ease of squeezing it. When I used little tiny extra bottles for the Elmer's glue, they're so little, I had to put a lot of pressure on it. It was hurting my hands. So I used the bigger art glitter glue bottle. So I'm going to take, here's our folded piece of paper. I'm going to take this and glue it right on top of, not inside, but right on top of this paper. And the thing that's great also about using wet glue is you have a second to tap this on the table, make sure that it's all nice and even along the edges, and you can take a minute to just kind of press and make sure the paper is drying the way you want it to dry. And then we'll add a little more glue. And we'll take the card. Here's the little tab. We're going to take this edge that does not have the tab and put that right on top. And again, we've got a little bit of time, because it's wet glue, to tap the edges and the top and the bottom and just make sure it's exactly in the place we want it to be. And this is keeping it from doing that sort of wave to the left. So you just keep doing that with all of the other pages. And I can show you in the back of this book, you end up with a lovely long set of pages just waiting for your artistic expression. Yeah, so on this side, if you look really close, you'll see the seam of the paper. Every 2 pages there will be a seam. If you turn it over, you will see this little tab on the back. Now, the wonderful thing about constructing this book the way I'm constructing it is I have been matting these pages with some papers that I've made, and they cover the seam, the tab right here and right here. And you'll notice here you can't see the seam. It's all been covered with decorations and handmade paper, so you don't see it. I can barely feel it. So it's all gone. Yay! And there's that. Was there anything else I wanted to show you? Oh yeah, the idea of covering this up. You can cover up, if you're using, and you can use any old kind of paper or cardstock, but if it's like a pretty paper and you don't want to mat it, you can, there are a bunch of options. You can have the pretty paper that you've got, the pretty scrapbook paper or whatever, just come a little bit over into the next page and be pretty there. If you wanted to cut a scalloped edge or little points, or I don't know, whatever you want. I actually think getting too close, cutting points that came too close to this fold right here might shift the integrity of this gluing tab. So I'd be careful there. But another thing you could do is, I think it's in this book. This book is upside down. That's why I wasn't finding it. Nope. Now it's upside down. Where'd it go? I cut out of pretty paper a little scallop. Maybe it's not that book. Maybe that's why I'm having a hard time. Here it is. I don't know if you can see. I cut a little scallop paper right there. So you could take a little paper that you've cut into pretty shapes and just glue it over the tab, and then you wouldn't see it. It wouldn't be a visual challenge to you. So you could take washi tape and put it over, kind of like this. You could paste a little scallop over that. You could just paste some paper like book page paper, or just a different pretty decorative page over that. There are lots of ways to hide this on the back side. Or maybe you're only going to make, I'm decorating both sides, the front and the back of the accordion, but maybe you're only going to decorate and use the front of the accordion. So then you'll never see the tabs. So there are lots of ways to get around seeing those tabs. Yeah, I think that's it for this video. So go get your paper and cut and score and cut, and get it all set to go. And then in the next video, we are going to talk about matting these pages and beginning to decorate. This book does not have anywhere near enough stuff. Enjoy yourself on it. So I'm going to have to be working some more on, whatever. Just lots of stuff. The only thing I would say is that in this book, and we'll talk about this more in the next video, I think because accordions don't have, if this is the spine, the spine isn't very thick. So keeping these pages pretty flat is nice, I think. It doesn't make the book, sort of too big for itself. So I would like to share a blessing with you. These are my blessing diamonds. Maybe you've been around for a while and you've seen videos early on about the blessing diamonds. They're pretty far back, a year or two. Anyway, this is just my way of putting good stuff out in the universe. I'm certainly not recommending any particular religious backgrounds or anything. Anyway, so my blessing for you today, and I did this today. I was kind of in a funk this morning, and I thought, you know what? I'm in charge of my own mind, and I can tell my mind what I want it to think. So instead of kind of grinding around in the sad, depressing, horrible thoughts, I thought, let's make a video and cheer me up. So art pretty much always does that for me. So I wish for you to have all the gumption you need to be in charge of your own brain and your own thinking, and sit around and think what you might like to think about. Maybe you would like to go to a large body of water and stare at it and just notice the beauty, or go to a mountaintop, or look outside your window and thank the trees for being so generous with their oxygen. whatever, you're in charge. So here is your blessing, which I blow across the planet for you. And I wish you a wonderful day full of being in charge of your own thinking. All right. See you later. Bye.